Forward, hoop. Left, feet. Squad, halt, post flex. Right face, forward, hook. Right face, right column. Over on it now.
Good morning, everyone. This is the starting and the beginning of our ceremony. We have the posting of our flags by our Metlakatla veterans. Next on our agenda is the opening prayer, Gavin Hudson.
Bow our heads, please. We shmoiget kalachara, gwentra tradni skaikskum ged segelen. Kam god ka in shamom da ged. Kam god ka kalsaba wulu zalm gwa'a. Kam god ka na gitweld kum adana in kinam na le de duels na lu shlodum lach yu. Den ka na gagodum dim wil da askum dim sagait sisagum woody na shagi gedum. Sagar ledum asibaldum dim walam ana amahasalsum. Gwynuyu dak gwan dim sadum willalu hoxkendak needum glenweld. Great Chief of the Sky, touch all those who are hurting today. Bless all those who are helping others. Bless this village where we live. Bless our warriors and those who gave their lives for the United States of America. Guide our hearts so that we can pull together as our ancestors did. Give us strength as we try to do good work. I ask that you always be with us. Amen.
Amen.
Next, we will have Mayor Atkinson for the welcoming.
Good morning, all. It gives me great honor at this time to welcome the great state of Alaska in our presence, virtual presence. I'd like to extend a welcome to Governor Michael Dunleavy, Senator Dan Sullivan, Senator Lisa Murkowski, and from the BIA Northwest Region Office, Brian Mercier, and our own representative of BIA, Gavin Hudson. Metlakatla's sons and daughters have been serving this country during every major conflict since World War I, long before Alaska became a state. Our warriors' selflessness has kept us safe and free. Their sacrifice has made our democracy sacred, and it has earned them a place of honor. This project was made possible because of many people's hard work to make it happen. First of all, I want to thank our own grant writers, Janelle Winter and Alexis Wagner. I want to thank council and executives and former mayor, Carl Cook, who worked collaboratively to overcome the obstacles that may have occurred. Thank you to the Metlakatla Veterans Association, and a very special thank you, a very, very special heartfelt thank you from MIC goes out to Senator Sullivan, who went above and beyond in making this project a top priority at the federal level. We thank you and your staff, Senator Sullivan. I'll keep my remarks brief, but I want to bring to everyone's attention to the beautiful design on the invitation, created specifically for the cemetery by MIC tribal member and renowned Tsimshian artist. David Robert Boxley. It combines Tsimshian traditional culture and the values with Metlakatla's American patriotism. The Hayetsk, or copper shield, is a symbol of great wealth and importance to the Tsimshian. This Hayetsk represents our precious freedoms that our veterans have defended and honor we place on our warriors. The 6 white stars represent the 6 branches of the armed forces. The 7th copper star represents the North Star and the Alaska Territorial Guard. The field of blue and the red and white stripes reflect our American patriotism. The copper daggers flanking the Hayetsk are traditional Tsimshian weapons, here representing our veterans' strength, courage, and sacrifice. Today, we will break ground for the Metlakatla's Memorial Cemetery. This site will be a national cemetery which honors veterans and their eligible family members, with a final resting place in a national shrine with lasting tributes to commemorate their service and sacrifice to our great nation, the United States of America. On behalf of the Metlakatla Indian Community, Council, executives, and membership, again, it is my great honor to welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you for attending our virtual ceremony. We had some difficulties and we'll be doing this here in the council room, and then we'll move to the ceremony groundbreaking. For our remarks, today we have the Honorable Governor Mike Dunleavy.
Hello, Alaskans and members of the Metlakatla Indian community. Just a few days ago, we commemorated the 244th anniversary of our nation's founding. While many individuals have made significant contributions to the preservation of our democracy, none compared to the sacrifices of our nation's veterans. For generations, Alaskans, many of whom we honor today, have freely offered their lives in defense of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In fact, no state in our union has contributed a higher percentage of veterans than the last frontier. Metlakatla's veteran community is a shining testament to this Alaska spirit. With over 100 living veterans of the Vietnam era, the Gulf War, and the War on Terror, their commitment to our communities and our American ideals inspires us all. For so many, the fight did not end when they returned home. The wounds they carry, some visible, others less so, are a constant reminder of the price paid on our behalf. For others, their fight ended when they laid down their lives in defense of our republic. To these heroes and the loved ones left behind, we can never thank you enough. In closing, I'd like to especially recognize former Mayor Audrey Hudson, Mayor Carl Cook, Alaska's congressional delegation, and the entire Metlakatla Indian community for their hard work in securing funding for this important project. But as Abraham Lincoln once said, we're not here to consecrate the final resting place of these courageous men and women. The lives they led are more than sufficient for that purpose. Instead, we are here to remind ourselves of our duty to continue their work, to strive with conviction toward a more perfect union. I want to thank you for the opportunity to participate in today's events. I share in your excitement as we look forward to the completion of these long overdue memorial grounds. Have a great day, and thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you, Governor Dunleavy. Their next speaker with remarks are from Honorable Senator Dan Sullivan.
Hello, Mayor Atkinson and Judy Eaton and everybody else in Metlakatla. Thank you for inviting me to say a few words this morning. I'm actually in Nenana right now. I really wish I could be with all of you. I was going to send a video, which I did, but I thought if there was an opportunity to speak to you live, that I should do it. So hopefully you're able to see this live. It's a beautiful day here in the interior. But let me just say a couple words on what a special, long-awaited ceremony this is. You know, Our state, we boast the highest number of veterans per capita than any state in the country. And yet, we even have a more special patriotic distinction in Alaska, which is our Alaska Native community serves at higher rates in the military than any other ethnic group in America. That is what I call special patriotism. You know, when I had the chance to visit Metlakatla with many of you, one of the things that really, really moved me was the incredible veterans display of all the sons and daughters of Metlakatla who have served our great nation throughout history. Remarkable patriotism on your beautiful, wonderful island. So when I got elected, one of the things that I heard from a number of your mayors, and they're all great mayors, and your community leaders, is just how important it is and should be and will be to have a final resting place, a peaceful, beautiful, respectful resting place for our veterans, our Metlakatla veterans on the island. So we got to work. We got to work, all of us together, and as a member of the Armed Services Committee in the Senate, as a member of the Veterans Affairs Committee in the Senate, as somebody who still continues to serve in the military myself. I'm a colonel in the Marines. So for all the Marines out there, hoorah, and everybody else, thank you for your service. We got to work together with the VA, and I made this one of our top priorities in my office to say, this great community, this patriotic community needs a dignified, beautiful resting place for its patriotic veterans and their families. And I'm proud to say all of us working together, and the Undersecretary of Cemetery Affairs for the VA became very committed to working with all of you to make this special day happen. So I'm really sad I can't be there in person. Hopefully you're able to see me live with the magic of technology right now to be able to say a few words. I want to say something else that we worked on. You know, there was another piece of legislation that when I got elected was a huge priority for me. And that was, especially for our Vietnam veterans, our Alaska Native Vietnam veterans who served their country in a war when, let's face it, a lot of Americans were not serving, avoided service. We had so many in our state serving in Vietnam. And yet when they came home from that service, they were not able to apply for their Native allotment. That's just an injustice. You serve in a war. It was an unpopular war. You come home and your right to apply for a Native allotment, which had been going on in our state for decades, you were told that, sorry, you missed the deadline. So last year, you may have seen, again, working with so many of you and our Alaska Native Vietnam veterans, we got my bill, the Alaska Native Vietnam Veterans Equity Allotment Act, passed. I was actually in the Oval Office when the President of the United States signed a piece of legislation, many bills, but it had my bill in it. And when he signed the bill, he looked up and said, to the Alaska Native Vietnam vets, your long period of injustice over the Native allotment issue is over. It was great. So I wanted to make sure you all knew that. I know that impacted many of our veterans on Metlakatla. One element of the legislation, if the veteran had already passed away, the right to have the allotment now passes on to their heirs. So we are working with the federal government, all of our Alaskan Native Vietnam vets and their families to make sure we implement this legislation and finally get people the allotment that they deserve. Should not have had to wait this long, and certainly should not have had the ability to get your allotment be extinguished because you served in Vietnam. So we've righted that wrong. Now we have to implement it. I will say one final thing. I've had the honor of visiting Metlakatla, of working with so many of you on these issues, particularly the cemetery issue. But one honor I had is I got to meet one of your great leaders, a great American who we recently lost, Saul Atkinson. You know, I do this thing every week in the Senate called the Alaskan of the Week, where I go to the floor and I give a speech about someone who's special to their community, to our state, really to our country, but maybe not so well known. And one of my favorite Alaskans of the week was the one I did about Saul Atkinson, a plank holder. For the non-military folks, that means somebody who was the original member of the Navy SEALs, started by President Kennedy, trained hundreds, if not thousands of Navy SEALs, US astronauts like Neil Armstrong. And although he's not with us today, I'm sure he's looking down, smiling on this very important, very long-awaited ceremony dedicating this wonderful cemetery to the veterans of Metlakatla. He certainly stands in the ranks as one of the best. And so I know he's no longer referred to as the Mean Machine, which is what they called him when he was a Navy SEAL. Tough guy. But I'm sure he's looking down, and to his family, again, we mourn your loss, but you had an amazing, Saul Atkinson had an amazing impact on so many, including me. So again, I look forward to seeing all of you, hopefully in person. I'm still trying to get out for Founders Day. I hope you're staying healthy with regard to the pandemic. We will get through this stronger and more resilient. But as we do, today is a great day to celebrate the legacy, the heritage of service and patriotism on Metlakatla. And I am honored as your senator to have been part of this big effort on what is really, really an important day for the community. So have a great ceremony. I'm sorry I was not able to be there in person, but I hope you have a wonderful ceremony today. Congratulations to everybody who's worked on this for many, many years. And thanks for all of your service, patriotism, and the great work of Metlakatla on this important day.
We'd like to thank the Honorable Senator Dan Sullivan for his wonderful words. Next, we'll hear the remarks recorded from the Honorable Senator Lisa Murkowski.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to participate in this virtual groundbreaking ceremony this morning for the Veterans Memorial Cemetery. This is such an extraordinary effort brought together by so many. I was pleased to be able to help secure a federal grant to help make this possible. Enough to construct, but not only in the burial sites, but really an area to gather around a flagpole for future gatherings as a way that we honor and remember our veterans. Again, these projects don't happen without a lot of people working together, truly a team effort. But I hope that it's a strong signal to all of our veterans and their families that America values their service and respects their sacrifice. We know that in Alaska, our Alaska Native peoples served their country in higher numbers than so many others around the country. So having a veterans cemetery in Metlakatla is absolutely appropriate and overdue. And again, while it is long overdue, my hope is that this will serve as a place to properly honor our fallen veterans, a place for healing and reflection. Be well. God bless.
Thank you for those wonderful words, Senator Murkowski. The next that we have Representative Dan Ortez.
Good morning, and thank you very, very much for the opportunity to be with you this morning. My words will be brief, but no less heartfelt than the words we've heard already spoken so eloquently this morning by former Senator Sullivan as well as Senator Murkowski. It is indeed truly an honor for me to join you this morning on this fine day of remembrance, on this fine day where we can open up a very special place for Metlakatla citizens and for the community of Southeast Alaska, as well as statewide, a place where we can remember to honor the great sacrifice and the great service that has been provided to our country by the residents of the Alaska Native residents, and particularly those of the Metlakatla community. When we think about our country and we think about the founding moments where we step forward in a fashion where we are attempting to do something rare, something different, and to create, quote, a more perfect union, we have to remember that those freedoms and those rights do not come without a significant sacrifice, and none greater, as Senator Sullivan said, than the sacrifice that has been made by our veterans who served this country. And so today, indeed, it's truly a privilege and honor to be a part of this ceremony and to serve as state representative for the Metlakatla community, and as such, being able to participate in this very, very important event. And so thank you very, very much for the opportunity to do so.
Thank you very much, Representative Ortez. I see that Senator Stedman has joined us, if he would like to say a few words.
He just chatted and said
He was okay, all right. So this ends, did we have BIA on?
I don't see them on.
Okay, so this will conclude our part of this recording, and then we'll be moving down to the groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you. And the recording will continue down at the groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you. Did you? Janelle, did you want Rich to do his closing before we go?
Do you want to
Yeah. Huh?
The veterans going to speak?
or close us out?
Our veterans are
Yeah.
going to speak?
Before the closing, by Mayor Atkinson, we have the Vice President for the Metlakatla Veterans Association, Mark McCarty.
How y'all doing? Just want to say that we're just super happy to be here. This is truly a blessing and also an honor to be able to just be a part of this community. I've been part of this community for over 20 years, and I'm a veteran as well. And Jeff Moran back here, and then also with the mayor here, working with getting this this cemetery done and getting it started. And I think it's just going to be a great time to actually to honor all our veterans that have passed away, and then the ones that will pass away. And like they say, it's a final sweet resting place, Lord. And we just I just thank you for this time, just thank you for this opportunity and this honor. So thank you.
Before Reggie gives his closing remarks, we had Brian Mercer that just joined us from the BIA.
Thank you very much. I apologize for being late and for my attire. I am, as I have for the past 4 months, been working from my kitchen table. Can folks hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, my video seems to be frozen on my laptop, but Thank you all for giving me an opportunity to offer just a few remarks about this day. I apologize, I haven't had a chance to meet or travel to Metlakatla, but I look forward to that day. I was hoping to do it this summer, but obviously events have canceled that opportunity, and it may be a year or two before I get a chance to be up there. But I look forward to coming and seeing the Veterans Memorial. I am enrolled Grand Ron. If you aren't aware, we actually have a Veterans Memorial it's fairly well known on the West Coast for American Indians in Grand Ron, which is here in Western Oregon. I may send a picture just for you all to see and enjoy as well. But it's on our campus, front and center, driving up to our governance center of my own tribal community, and it means a lot. We have visitors, native and non-native veterans that come just to see the memorial. And I imagine that Metlakatla may have similar visitors as well in the future once we get to some state of normalcy where we can start traveling and seeing one another again. But we, as American Indians in the Northwest, have a long history of service. Bodie Shaw, my deputy, is a veteran. Bodie would have been here today too. I think he's having the same technological challenges we were having in getting on. So if he does join, I'd love to have him have a moment to share some words because he has worked closely with your community. But I'm really proud of Metlakatla. The engagement that the tribe has shown in my 2 years as regional director has been impressive. We're really happy to have Gavin Hudson now as our field rep there. And it's been a joy to have the mayor and the tribal leadership partake remotely on our tribal calls that we have weekly and sharing the information that they have. But this is today, it's a day to celebrate our veterans, and I'm really proud and thank all the Metlakatla veterans and the community there for doing something like this. And if you all ever need anything from the regional office down here in Portland or from my kitchen table for the next few months, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to, again, being able to come up and visit and meet you all in person. So thank you for the time to just say a few words. Again, apologize for the technological difficulties in joining late, and especially for my attire. I do have 2 young children here running around, so I couldn't put the suit on. It would have been a disaster. But thank you again. I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Regional Director Mercier, for those remarks. In closing.
I'd like to thank all dignitaries from the great state of Alaska. I'd like to thank Metlakatla Veterans Association for posting the awesome colors. Thank you, Brian Mercier from the Northwest Regional Office. Now I, as a combat veteran of Vietnam, we salute you all. Slow hands. Thank you.
So we'll proceed down to the groundbreaking area, and Alexis is going to continue.
Oh no! Can you hold that? It's recording.
Oh, it's recording.
Well, sorry, Phil. Yeah. Nathan. Hold up. got a pillow? Okay. Thank you. That's a great